Um, Jim's going to go over the sales numbers and what we have left for the month end and how many shipping days we have left.
All right, morning everybody. $1,784,373 as of today. We have 9 days left at 40% of the shipping month left, so we have 40% more to go. Okay. Things that going on last night. Obviously, we have many people were we have issues with SYS 37, SYS 164, so we have to get those done right away. So. And then we got to get people sorting cavity 1 out of SYS 37 are all bad. Cell 2, Pat, you have that for cavity 3. Fill 43, we've got the parts now. We're getting those over so Steve can deliver those. Clack 3 parts, Kim's going to pull the samples out, and then we got to check the thread alignment on the Clack 3 for each day, so I'll get somebody to help her with that. She can't thread them on, so we need to get someone to help thread them on. Where's Richard? Richard, while we're down, press 57 and 58 are both down, so if we have any PMs we want to do on those, we can do that. Okay. Julie, is Julie on there? Can you check on the large pins for press 16? Do you know what have a date on those yet? Okay, so we're ready to go? Okay. Alright, thank you.
Alright, from the big side, Jimmy, we need to get fill 38 in press 3. Make sure we put those in totes. I know that's a Gaylord job, but we're going to sell those right away. They're going to pull like 50,000 parts over the next 3-4 weeks on that job. So it's a special order, so make sure we're putting those in totes. BRN 6, we need to get that up and running in press 35. BRN 5, we need to get that into press 32, I believe. Just heads up for the tool room. Jimmy, can you check BRN 4 and 5 and make sure the right inserts are in there? If not, those will need to get changed over. And then Honeywell 3 is coming out for a changeover as well for the tool room to have. It's going to the dash 100s from the 300s, okay? Some pictures for on the floor. Phil Tran is obviously making a bunch of rechecks, and we have them just stuffed in the chute. We need to get that taken care of. This job was pulled out, the SYS 156, and there's 3 tubs of runners sitting over here that need to be ground. And I just want to make sure, I know we've been just dumping those runners in to the grinder all at once, and it's caused a couple issues with the grinder. We can't just dump a whole bunch in all at once. We got to slowly feed them in, okay? But we need to make sure we get those ground up before we get on to the next job. Out on the floor by press 11, I don't know what to do with these parts. They're not in a red reject bin, they're not in a box, there's no label, there's no nothing, they're just on the floor in a bin. So the operator asked me, they were there from 3rd shift, what she should do with the parts. I don't know what to do with the parts. I don't know if they're good or bad. I'm gonna have to assume they're bad. Again, this job was running last week. We pulled it out yesterday, and there's still parts sitting in a box over there from that job as well. The pallet jack just out in the middle of the floors. The hand cart's there. I kind of stood around and watched to see if somebody was using them. Nobody came over there within 3-4 minutes, so I'm assuming they weren't using them and just didn't get put back. The broom and dustpan, this is press 25. These say press 10 on them, and they're just sitting over by press 25. And this is just a picture to remind me, Rich, we need to get Arbrick in here and get this press fixed. The accumulator is not working right. We tried to move the injection unit forward, and we got accumulator low 3 different times. So we need to get Arbrick in here to get it figured out. 52. And then this was just a thing that bugged me that I wanted to share with everybody. You know, I did the cart for the label making, but again, it's not perfect. We had to use a cable to plug it into the wall to get on the network. And I think you guys can see the cables are just kind of all over the place. So yesterday, I went through and I zip tied all the cables up so that they look nice and neat and organized. And we got a Wi-Fi adapter for the computer, so now you can take it anywhere you want. You don't have to plug it into the wall. So if somebody wants to use it out on the floor, they can use it out on the floor or anywhere we got Wi-Fi in the building, which is just about everywhere. Okay, so it just bugged me that every day I'd go over there and look at it, and all these cables were all over the place. So I went and fixed it. Okay, and that's all the pictures we got.
All right, also make sure we put the picture up here of SYS 164 on the high gate. High gate does not mean just a stub, it means also vestige. So high gate vestige, so that's what we're having problems with now. It's not that we're a solid post, but that's what the problem is. So we've got gate vestige above that height. Today we have one of the Kaizen events at 3 o'clock, so if you're signed up for that, don't forget. We're going to have a plant tour on Thursday. I think right after lunch, right around lunch. So a vendor and some of the CEO is coming in. So please make sure the plant's clean and organized for that.
Tip, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I forgot a suggestion. Just a reminder for everybody for the suggestion to keep the warehouse doors closed during, especially when it's snowing out at night, because it's blowing snow into the warehouse. Okay.
Okay. All right, also talk about some improvements that came up yesterday. So Robin had a great idea the other day about, we put raw labels on PerkinElmer and Meritribal. It's changed PerkinElmer, but it's SYS 119 and SYS 118 because a lot of times we share it, so we end up with internal stock orders, okay? So that has no address because it's internal stock. So how many labels do we have to change the other day? Over 500 labels we had to change to ship out. Okay, so we have to keep the information on there, right? Because we have our inspector number, operator number, dates, all that, but we had to put addresses on over 500 labels. So the label cost obviously is a problem. So we probably have at least $50 in label costs. Now that's not the biggest problem because obviously it's all the labor and time we took. We had to call someone in to come in here and do it. So Robin asked me what we could do. So we came up with, so when we run that product, now the 20R089s, it's in there as a label to pull up when we're running any product, okay? So now when it comes up, it's already a permanent address on here. So now if we ever need to change something, it'll be a couple boxes between the two customers, not all the boxes. Okay, so Robin had an idea that bugged her about all that, so we came up with a solution. It did take me about a half hour to fix it. So it was a half hour to fix what we probably spent 8 hours changing labels, multiple times, probably every quarter. Okay, so real good improvement Robin came up for us. So everyone tell Robin that very good. So saved a lot of time and money. Thank you. So make sure everyone knows. So when you're doing that, there should be an address now for 18 and 19. That's why it's 18. That's why it's 19. There should be an address when we go to make those parts. Okay. So make sure you check that when we're doing it. All right. Also, we have a video here. You want to turn the volume off? I'll sort of explain it. Where's Maria? Where's my video person? All right. So obviously, we cut wire. Everyone knows what we do up front. We cut wire for length for what we're running on GO11 or GO14 or 11. So Maria's explaining how, she gets the parts off, she has to check this length, right? Because we run 3 different lengths on the 6 wire, and then we run 2 different lengths on the duals, and so forth. So she has to cut the wire, and what she's doing right now is obviously walking. Doing a lot of walking, right? So if everyone remembers, what's one of the wastes that we talk about? Excess motion, wasted motion, right? There's no value added. So needless to say, as I'm walking here, I'm talking to Maria, and we're talking about this stuff, and right now we're at like 1 minute and 20, I believe. Are we coming back now? No, we're still going there, right? Yeah, we're still on our way to check the parts, okay? So we're still walking up and look at that. So we can only run 1 wire length at a time, correct? So when we start it, we can only run them in bundles of 200 because we got to match red, red, and red, or black, black, and black. So if we run 200 of the 51.33 inches, we have to walk up, check that wire length, okay? And if we run 400 of them, it takes us, I think, 6 minutes to run 400 wires. So 6 minutes later, we have to run a different length. Okay, so 6 minutes later, she has to walk up, put it on the gauge, and make sure it falls inside that gauge. Okay? And if anyone remembers, we've never had the wire machine next to the press. Okay, we've always had it in that building, we've always had it all the way over in that corner. So we've always had a long distance to go with that. So now she's checked it, wire's good. So now she walks all the way back, okay? So 3 times for every part number we make. In Jose, we run sometimes 3 different part numbers a day that you're making wire for, right? Okay. So she has to make the wire for your 3 different parts. And if anyone's seen me walk around, I walk a little bit faster, so Maria was trying to keep up with me. So it might be a 4-minute walk normally, but it was only a 3-minute because I was pushing her. We were walking fast. So as we were walking back, we were talking about what can we do to make it better, okay? So we'll get to that part here in a second. Now, one of the other things we're going to try and improve on is how do we fast forward parts of videos, okay? So we haven't figured that one out yet. So we can do it 1.5 times speed. So as you can see, we all the way back. And then by the time she gets up there, she's good to go. Now she can press start, correct? Then you can start cutting the wire the length that you just checked, okay? So now she can take this wire, we put it on the edge, we put the Velcro strip on the end to hold it tight, and she pulls it down, and it has a tape measure right there on the machine, okay? So the 3 minutes it took us to walk all the way up front to check that, she can make 211 wires, cut wires instead of walking back and forth. So now to do that 3 times a day, we can make an extra 600 wires a day. No extra work, no difference. And she just has to put it on there, and it was a $9 tape measure with tape on it. And we have the Velcro, so I don't know what the Velcro, maybe 3 cents that it cost us to do that, so to save all that time for Maria. Okay, so it's just simple, look at what we're doing instead of just doing the same thing over and over. Does that make sense? So, very good. Thank you. All right. Back to Paul. All right. So now Paul, he just talked about how he was flawed in what he was doing and trying to build a culture. So now it was clear to me that my primary task was to go home and build a culture of lean thinking by focusing on growing people. Building a lean culture was the missing link for me. And it's why I couldn't get the improvements at FastCap to stick. It's the reason I felt like I was pushing a train. Lean is about building a culture of continuous improvement, not about conducting lean events. Like any other aspect of self-improvement, the hardest part is not learning how to do it. The hardest part is changing the culture. The lifestyle, so that the progress is ongoing, permanent upward course. We all know someone who lost weight or started a new positive habit like exercise, meditation, or daily prayer. We also know that later, many of these life improvements tend to drop off. We are creatures of habit. Change is an easy experiment, but a bad habit is like a jealous, abandoned mistress, constantly vying for your return. My forte into lean was no exception. Not only did I need to incorporate this new way of thinking as a permanent and progressive change of habit, but I needed my craftsmen, warehouse employees, shipping and packaging people, office managers and executive directors to embrace this way of thinking. I wasn't sure how I was going to accomplish that, but what happened next on this Japanese pilgrimage sure pointed me in the right direction. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. So again, it's a culture. It's not one event and we're done. So it's just an ongoing thing. I don't think Maria's given up on one thing back there. There's more pictures I'll put up about what she's doing. It's every day she's doing something different, making a little bit better change. It's every aspect of what we're doing. What bugs you, and how can we make a small change to make a big difference in the long run? Any questions? All right, thank you.